Show me the one whose safety deemed such destruction. You must reunite it with its own kind.
Where?
This you must determine. The songs of eons past tell of battles between Mandalore the Great and an order of sorcerers called Jedi.
You expect me to search the galaxy and deliver this creature to a race of enemy sorcerers?
This is the way.
Hello in TV land. My name is Rowan Wood.
And I'm Sebastian Rickerhoff, and this is Across the Stars, where if it's Star Wars,
we cover it. Thank you for saying exactly like I said it in our pre-recording conversation, Sebastian.
I had to. You said it, and I couldn't not do it in good con.
Anyway, so today's episode, we had to do a little schedule shift. Originally today, we were going to release our Revenge of the Sith review, which is almost 2 hours long, which is insane. But instead, the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer came out on Tuesday, and we were like, and I immediately texted Sebastian and said, we have to do an episode on this. We couldn't not. And I mean, we could have just done a bonus one, but I feel like we have enough to say to merit an entire episode.
That, and this is also, like you said, we needed to fill up our schedule a little bit.
Exactly. At least for the Mandalorian Season 1 trailer, the Season 1 trailer was really mysterious. It told us nothing about the plot. And I think Season 2, the trailer for Season 2 does pretty much the same thing. There's not a lot of, there's a lot of intrigue here, obviously, but there's also just a lot of room for speculation and room for thinking about, what could be happening. It could go in any number of directions. So essentially, before we start, I just want to say, when you search Mandalorian Season 2 trailer on YouTube, as I watched it in preparation for this episode, I saw the first thing that comes up, before the actual trailer, one of the first thing that comes up is a fake trailer for Mandalorian Season 2 released in mid-April earlier this year that I watched back then. I thought it was legitimately the real trailer. So I watched it and I thought it was real until Mando was looking at Baby Yoda, the child, and he was like, "And how many times have I told you not to smoke in the Razor Crest?" And it cuts to teenage Yoda smoking death sticks and blowing out yellow smoke. It is the funniest shit, and you all need to watch it.
And I don't know how many times I've told you not to smoke in the Razor Crest. Are you paying attention? Don't even think about it.
My real father's or not.
I gotta look that up.
It's so
you can send
funny.
it to me, it'd be much appreciated.
I will. It's so funny.
That was the first thing that showed up?
I don't know if it's the first thing, but it comes up before the official trailer release on the Disney Plus account. It's crazy. But I have a feeling,
hilarious.
Yeah, but then again, the full trailer's only been out for 2 days, so as more people watch it, I'm sure it'll climb to the top. But I just wanted to throw that out before we started.
I watched it just now, and apparently it's number 2 on trending.
Interesting.
I had to watch it just now so I could, refresh my memory.
Yeah. So do we want to jump in?
Yeah, sure. Let's just jump in. And I think one of the first things that sort of you notice when watching this is that, at least compared to the first season, I think that this is going to have more of a more of a connected storyline.
Yes.
Like you know how most of the episodes of season 1, they were like their own separate little adventures, and then everything sort of came together at the end.
Yeah.
I think right off the bat here, it's just going to be like more connected and, you know, linear story sort of.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and I think that was one of the lessons that they probably learned from season 1, because like they were trying something out. It was a huge experiment, and for the most part, it succeeded. But I think you're right. I think they're going to go in a different direction because now they have more of an idea of what the fans want, and that is sort of I think might be guiding them in terms of what they're going to give us. Because, you know, Star Wars, it's good at subverting expectations, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. You know, take the sequel trilogy, which is a whole episode unto itself. But I think that there's going to be a lot of stuff in here in this season that we don't see coming, that no one could possibly predict. Yeah.
I think, another thing that I noticed, just sort of, especially you notice it more near the end of the trailer. I think that this season is going to have more of a connection to the New Republic and the Imperial remnants.
Yeah.
Like in the last season, right? Obviously, the Imperial remnants were like the closest thing you had to a main villain throughout.
Mm-hmm.
But I think here, like, they're gonna definitely be sort of, at least, what's the guy's name? Moff.
Gideon.
Yeah, Moff Gideon. I think, you know, he's probably gonna be like the villain in charge of the whole thing.
Yeah.
At least for this season, you know.
Yeah.
That's just my impression.
Yeah, I think I feel like they made a mistake in season 1 by not introducing him earlier, because he's a great villain, and he's played by Giancarlo Esposito, who's fantastic.
I think that I wouldn't call it a mistake, because then this way they sort of like they leave a little bit more mystery to him, which like sort of helps with the build up of season 2, you know?
Yeah.
And so now like, they sort of establish him, and then now they can build up on what they established in, like, those last 2 episodes, which, granted, wasn't a whole lot. I have to agree with you there.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Are we ready to jump into the trailer?
Oh, yeah.
Fantastic.
I thought we already had. I didn't realize.
Oh, yeah.
Great.
Well, I meant like talking about stuff specific to the trailer as opposed to just general season 2 hopes and predictions. Okay. Yeah. So
that's right. We already did an episode on all this. What am I going
It's true. We did. Well, you know, like anything that we didn't say in that episode, I feel like this is probably the best place to say it. So the trailer begins above a planet. We don't know which planet. Hard to tell. But the Razor Crest, the Mando's Mandalorian ship, is flying, and it looks battered and beaten a little bit. And like the hangar bay doors are hanging open, lights are flashing. Doesn't look to be in great shape. So that is... I wonder if that's from the beginning or later on, because in the season 1 trailer they showed us stuff from every episode, but it was hard to tell exactly when from the show that it would fall into. So I think that it's a toss up. It could be at the beginning after maybe Mando fights Moff Gideon and maybe his ship is messed up, or maybe it's near the end. There is absolutely no way of knowing.
Yeah, and then you sort of just see him throughout the trailer. You see him and the child, and you see a good variety, I think, in terms of planets, which is something that you normally see in things in the Star Wars universe. There's always, your cliche like desert and snow planets, and they've got those boxes checked. They also have the like underground fighting,
Yeah.
Like, so I think the locations, there's also like a couple of like rocky looking planets. The locations seem to be nice and varied, and which is pretty neat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I mean, season 1 was also pretty good about showing us a bunch of diverse locations, but I think season 2 they're gonna do even more of that because people seem to like it. So I figured, you know, I'm sure they figured the same thing. Why not do more? You know, go bigger, go better. You know, that's
exactly. It's sort of like what you do in Star Wars. You show off like as many planets as you can.
Exactly, yeah. And one of the I mean, among what we saw in the trailer, I have seen theories that maybe the ice planet that they're on, maybe that's Ilum, which is later made into Starkiller Base. And maybe the water planet, maybe that's Mon Cala, where Admiral Akbar is from. They definitely go back to Tatooine, because we do see a Tusken Raider on a Bantha. I don't know why they go back to Tatooine, but who knows?
The funniest thing in that whole trailer is when they show the Bantha and the Tusken Raider, the voiceover says "where" right as the Bantha opens its mouth, and so it looks like the Bantha's talking for just a split second. I watched it twice, and both times I thought that the Bantha was talking until I realized, I'm just an idiot.
Yeah. I have a question for you. I don't know if if you know this, but the voiceover in the trailer belongs to the Armorer character from season 1. Was that voiceover, that dialogue exchange between her and Mando, was that from season 1?
I don't think so.
Okay, because that means she's still alive.
I don't remember it, and she talks about like
the Jedi
him taking the child to the Jedi, which I don't think was
probably not
just in season 1.
Yeah.
But then again, I also completely forgot that he got a jetpack at the end, so maybe I'm not the best person to, as we have on documented evidence. So maybe fair. I'm not the best person to ask. I have to rewatch season 1 before we get into season 2.
But I think you're right. She definitely didn't mention the Jedi in season 1. That's strictly a season 2 thing. I wonder how much of a presence the Jedi are going to have in here.
That's what I was wondering, because they get mentioned a lot. You even see somebody in like a robe that like disappears.
I have stuff to talk about with her, but we'll finish this and then we'll go on to her.
Yeah. And so if Mando's like main objective is to deliver the child to the Jedi, I can only assume that at some point we're gonna see at least one Jedi. You know, like I don't know if it might not be Luke Skywalker or something.
Probably not. No.
Yeah, I can't imagine Mark Hamill coming for playing like a Luke 20 or so years before.
A digitally de-aged Luke Skywalker.
Yeah, I know. One of those things that, as they know, we love so much. Yeah, but I don't know how they're gonna. Yeah, so it'll probably be somebody different. There were even rumors of like Ahsoka being in this season.
Yeah,
so
a lot of rumors
maybe that could be.
A lot of rumors of like legacy characters like Ahsoka, Captain Rex, Boba Fett. A lot of rumors about them appearing, and I think we talked about this more in our.
We did. We talked about that with Mackenzie.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Another thing about this trailer that I couldn't help but notice is that they like say "this is the way" every like 4 seconds.
Yeah. I saw one of the memes I saw after watching this trailer was near the end when Baby Yoda, the child shuts his crib. I saw one of the memes that says, "Oh, this is not the way." So they say it so damn much.
They definitely seem to be, I don't know, maybe taking advantage of that phrase or whatever and marketing with it pretty. Well, I don't know. What am I saying? Let's see.
Anyway, so the woman who is very obviously a Jedi here.
Of some kind.
Yeah. So she's played by for WWE star wrestler Sasha Banks. I don't know anything about wrestling like at all.
We should have gotten Cam for this episode.
But I knew that like I saw that that's who's playing that person. But I read a theory that she is playing Sabine Wren from Star Wars Rebels, because she survives Rebels, and she.
Damn, so I gotta watch Rebels now in order to get caught up on my Mandalorian.
Well, there's also rumors of Ezra Bridger from Rebels also appearing in Mandalorian season 2. I doubt that all
rumors
of these rumors.
Everyone and their mother
Exactly.
being in Mandalorian.
I doubt that all of these are going to happen. Like probably maybe a few characters, but they're not going to shove all of these characters into the 8 episodes.
No, that
way.
would be ridiculous.
Yeah.
I would hope not.
Yeah, but I think it's possible, because it would be a good misdirect, because the woman in the robe is she's very obviously intended to be seen as a Jedi. So it would be a good misdirect if in fact she was not a Jedi, but say Mandalorian Sabine Wren. It would just she's watching for Mando. Maybe they have a little plot line where he runs into her clan, because I know Sabine has a mother. I don't remember if she died in Rebels, but Sabine and her mother, and they have a little clan of Mandalorians, Clan Wren. So I know that they're still out there after Star Wars Rebels and after Return of the Jedi. So they're still out there. So it's very possible that even if this isn't her, it's very possible they'll run into them in the future at some point.
That's pretty much all the notes I have down. I don't know if there's more you wanted to discuss about this trailer. Show comes out on October 30th. We have a solid release date now. That was nice.
Yes. And we are going to, for this podcast, we are going to review the season premiere the day after its release, and we are the episodes of our podcast. We're not going to review every episode independently, aside from the premiere and the finale. We are in fact going to review the episodes, the in the middle episodes 2 by 2. So we're still going to have regular episodes every other week up until season 2 is done.
We figured that since The Mandalorian is sort of the biggest Star Wars thing coming out at that time, it would be good to divert most of our focus to it. We probably have some good guests on for that too.
For sure.
But another thing I wanted to discuss, just very briefly, because this isn't, it's not as big news because it, but a new trailer, I sent this to you, Rowan, a new trailer for the game Star Wars Squadrons came out just this past week. And I'm not going to lie, it got me pretty excited to play the story mode, which we will, or at the very least I will be covering on this podcast later, because I know Rowan's not much
we're gonna do an episode. I can't promise I'll have a massive amount to contribute. But I'll be there. We'll do some sort of episode on it. So you have that look forward to.
So, but anyway, that was a pretty neat trailer, and it plays more like an animated short, and it was genuinely incredible. From the looks of the starships, look like they're straight from the movies, and I actually found myself rooting for the Imperial guy that they show, and it looks pretty great. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a lot more excited for this game after that trailer.
Yeah. Before we end, I have a few just random notes about the Mandalorian Season 2 trailer, including there are X-Wings in here, New Republic X-Wings, because it's 6 years after Return of the Jedi, so New Republic is definitely a thing by now.
Yep.
And they seem to be working with Mando on something. Don't know exactly what that entails, but that'll be an interesting plot line there. Also, Gina Carano and Carl Weathers are coming back as Cara Dune and what was Carl Weathers' character's name?
I don't remember. Every time I saw him on screen, I forgot his character's name and just thought of him as Apollo Creed.
Hold on, Carl Weathers, Mandalore. I will not be able to. Grief Karga, that was his name. Carl
Weathers was Apollo Creed, right? I don't have that wrong. Right?
I haven't seen any of the Rocky movies, so I would not know. But anyways, also there are some stormtroopers, whether they're First Order or post-Empire stormtroopers. I don't know. we only see them from the back, and then we see scout troopers from the front. And this should take place pretty much right after season 1. So I don't think the First Order is a big thing yet, because I think they only rise to power a little bit later.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like the fact that there are still Imperial remnants that are kind of strong, and they're very clearly like still Empire. I don't think that the First Order is at all a thing yet.
I think it might be interesting over the course of The Mandalorian, the show, to see the rise of the First Order, like growing from.
Depends on how long they can. Obviously, it depends on how long they can keep the show running, because there's 20 years, 22 years between.
They could always do a time jump if they wanted to.
They could.
Yeah. There's a lot of. There's so much to explore in these, in the 30 years in between Return of the Jedi and Force Awakens, and I think The Mandalorian is probably the best thing to do that right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, definitely. Because that's not. I think they said they have other movies planned, but they're not. They're not part of the main series. I think they're going to be Rogue One or Solo type
anthology movies.
Yeah. So they could do it with that, but obviously they won't be able to cover as much as, a TV show that has 2 seasons behind it.
Exactly. Yeah.
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 So.
Also, I love. So there's the cage fight, which is pretty cool. I'm excited for that sequence. And Mando. So in the ensuing fight, guys try to get Mando for, I don't know, probably just because they want the bounty on the child. And so he's fighting these guys, and the last shot is him throwing a knife into one of the guy's nipples. I just find that so funny. He's like, "Where can I go where this will hurt? I know, the nipple." It's just it's like a split second decision that's like, this is the way. The Mandalorians might just have a thing for nipples. I don't know. But yeah, I just
best use of that funny line I think I've ever heard so far.
What, the Mandalorians might have a thing for nipples, or this is the way?
This is the way. Just, you gotta chuck it,
Yeah. In the trailer, the line comes after that, but for all we know, he might say, "This is the way." This is how they get initiated into the Mandalorians. Like into Death Watch, they have to get knives thrown into both their nipples.
Yeah.
This is a slight divergence, but there's a thing in Game of Thrones where where this slave owner was like, "Oh, I've conditioned my soldiers to not feel pain," and the way he shows them and the way he proves that they don't feel pain is he cuts off one of their nipples, and I feel like that's probably not the thing that you could do to feel the most pain. Granted, it would hurt a lot, but still. I feel like do TV shows in the 21st century just have a thing for nipple and blades and stuff? Not blades, nipples and blades. I've played enough Cards Against Humanity to know that nipple blades are a thing. Anyway, continue.
If you cut them off, then there's less chance of getting your TV-14 rating going higher because of nudity.
Exactly.
We can't have that going into TVMA, so you're not allowed to have nipples.
That's true.
I'm not sure that qualifies for Game of Thrones, but...
Yeah, well, Game of Thrones was popular enough at that point that they could do whatever the hell they wanted, and people would still watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway, that Mandalorian Season 2 trailer review just went on a pretty far tangent, but that's fine. We're still a Star Wars podcast.
We're here for good discussion above all else.
Exactly. Good discussion of anything, including Mandalorian nipples. Okay, anyway. So yeah, Mandalorian Season 2, Jedi, going deeper and further into the Star Wars lore. It's going to be pretty cool. It's going to be pretty good. October 30th.
You haven't seen the trailer yet, check it out and get yourself excited for October 30th. I know I'm looking forward to this season quite a bit.
I just realized the our review of episode 1 is going to be our Halloween episode. I don't know. Maybe if we're doing video on that for that episode, we should dress up. Ooh, I don't know. Just a little idea I'm throwing out there. But yeah, I would like to announce and throw this out there. I did order 2 books after one of the most recent episodes we recorded. That hasn't been released yet, but we do discuss like obscure Star Wars characters and how they gave a backstory to pretty much anyone in the original movies. And so I ordered, after that discussion, I bought online both the Essential Guide to Characters and the New Essential Guide to Characters, which came out in, I believe the 80s and the early 2000s, because I just really want to have my own copies. I just want to have them.
What I have is the character encyclopedia.
Oh yeah, I have one of those too. Yeah, that's all canon though, right? That's all canon.
I'm pretty sure,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
If it's not, I'm treating it canon because Ewan Sleeves Pagano going back home and rethinking his life just to sell death sticks. That's where I learned that. That's just, I that is canon. That is like the number one thing in my mind that must remain canon.
Definitely,
you heard me bring it up like at least 3 times. Yeah. I love that little tidbit.
I know that the New Essential Guide to Characters, I believe, came out in like 2002 or 3, so it includes both the first 2 prequels. So I'm sure there's an entry on Ewan Sleaze Bagano that it's like 5 pages long, gives this whole backstory, and when I do get those, we might do an episode or 2 that's just reading
Ewan Sleaze Bagano.
It's just reading random character backstories and riffing on them. There's so much like hilarious stuff that was canon back in the day, and I just it's so fun. Star Wars is so weird. Like, there's so much weird crap that happens in this universe. But yeah. Yeah.
All right. Well, that is The Mandalorian season 2.
Oh yeah. That was all we talked about in this episode. Just The Mandalorian.
Yeah, we didn't talk about anything else here.
Nothing else.
Anyway, thank you for listening. If you made it through this far, this was definitely one of our shorter episodes, and definitely, I'm sure y'all are glad about that. So,
we'll be back next week. Yeah, we'll be back next week with Revenge of the Sith.
Revenge of the Sith, that's right.
Yeah. Sorry, we're not recording video this week. Little computer trouble on my part, but I don't think anyone watches our videos on YouTube anyway, so it doesn't really matter. Regardless, so we'll be back next week. We have some great October episodes lined up for you guys. So we hope that you'll like those. And we will be back then with more episodes. Bye-bye.